Hello, hello everyone, welcome back, Severed is here, coming back with part 1 of a new series, and it shall be what if Deku had half and half quirk, half lightning, half air. And if you're wondering why did I choose this, because in the last part of, what if do you want, there were happening a tie between what if Deku had air and lightning, and what if he had double quirk, which is the villain twice quirk. In the end, I decided to do this first. Why? Because twice quirk is quite a tricky thing to work with. I need to think very much about how I want to start it. I can't just, start it like this. I need to know what to do, and also I need to keep in mind that Izuku is from a new generation, so his quirk will be much more better than twice, or at least a little bit better. Well, that's on the side, but right now we will gonna get into what if Deku had, half air, half lightning. But there was one final question that I need to ask you guys. Do you want me to turn Shoto Todoroki into a girl? Why? Nah, don't care about why I want him a girl or why I want you guys to decide that. It's just a side thing, don't care about it, just answer with yes or no without thinking at all, alright guys? Anyways, let's get right into it. As right now Izuku is 4 years old and he's just playing in the playground with everyone else. And Izuku has born quite differently. He's born with a half, silver or kinda grey hair and a blue too. Half and half hair with the weird looking eyes too. Which is the doctors told Inko that he might have a quirk, and it might be a half and half quirk, as she, expecting some sort of a quirk, but that's not the point right now. The point that Izuku right now just playing in the playground, and after that, suddenly he hears some kids saying, "Oh, Bakugo, you finally got your quirk?" As after that, everyone starts going, running around Bakugo, seeing how he having some sort of a little fireworks inside his arms. As Izuku seeing this, he come closer and after he said, "Oh, Kachan, do you have a quirk?" As Bakugo said, "Yeah, Deku, look, I have explosion it seems." "Look, it's so cool." As Izuku said, "Wow, it's really so cool, but just wait until I get mine." As after that, Bakugo, "I'm sure that is won't be better than mine." As after that, Izuku said, "No, I'm sure it will be good, and I'll be the number one hero." As Baku said, "You the number one hero, you mean me, idiot." As after that, suddenly they hear a gunshot around the place, and Izuku turned around to see suddenly a man just grabbing him and holding him from the neck, pointing a gun on his head, while the police start to come here with of course, the hero, one of the heroes. As after that, the police said, "Freeze! Don't move! Drop the kid!" As the policeman said, "I want a car, and you will leave me alone, and then I'm gonna leave the kid, or I'm gonna blow his head into pieces." As after that, Bakugo coming closer and said, "Leave my friend alone." As after that, of course, the criminal immediately just kicking Bakugo away. As the police tried to come closer, but he immediately put the gun even closer into Izuku's head, as he said, "Come any closer and I will gonna blow his fucking mind." As after that, Izuku start to cry and screaming, saying, "Please help me, anyone." As after that, of course the criminals start to go a little bit far, just walking backward. As in the end, Baku just looking from far away, while there is a hero just dragging him away from the scene. And after that, the sky starts being covered with like some weird of a black of course, what they call it, the sky starts to get a little bit dark because it's being engulfed in clouds, as the clouds is just coming, becoming more and more. As the police officer said, "Leave the kid alone." As the criminal said, "Never! Give me a car and I'm gonna leave. And then I'm just gonna leave the kid." As after that, Izuku said, "Please, anyone, help me." As Izuku tried to kick the villain, but immediately he said, "Try moving again, I'm gonna blow your fucking mind, kid." As after that, Izuku said, "Please, leave me alone, please." As after that, suddenly Izuku said, "Please, just leave me alone." As after that, he from his, of course, right side, a strong electricity just engulfing the whole villain body start electrocuting him, and after that he just throw Izuku away and the villain start to smoke on the ground. As after that the villain is just shaking on the ground while Izuku right half start to smoke. As after that he start breathing heavily. He's breathing heavily like his lungs is stopped from working. As after that the police coming closer into Izuku and seeing him just lose his consciousness, and after that they just take the villain away. And after that Izuku finding himself in the hospital, just sitting on the bed with his mother on his left side, as he said, what's happened? As after that Inko immediately started to cry and said, oh Izuku, I'm so happy that you're okay. My heart waits to you, little boy. I'm really worried about you. What's happened there and why? As the doctor said, chill down a little bit, miss. It's not really a big deal. As after that Inko said, a big deal? A criminal was about to kill my little boy and you telling me that's not a big deal? As the doctor said, that wasn't what I mean. What I was mean that your son is okay right now. Well, he's more than okay. I might be happy to say that your son has got a quirk, miss, and it's so interesting quirk indeed. Half and half? Very cool indeed. As after that Inko said, half and half? What do you mean by this? As the doctor said, well, your son, as you might already guessed from the look on his eyes and hair, he have a half and half, which is basically he can engulf air and control the wind using his left arm, and or you can just say the left part of his body. But the side effect to this that he will might accidentally, if he overuse his left side, he might blow up his own lungs inside his own chest, which is not the nicest way to die, to say the least. But he can stop that side effect by using his, of course, right side, which is gonna use the electricity inside his body to stop his lungs from working for a couple of minutes. But if he overused his of course right side, he will gonna stop his lungs too much that he will not even be able to breathe anymore, and he will just gonna stop all his organs from working because he using the electricity inside his body. Well, I hope that you will gonna make sure to always balance your powers, kid. As Izuku said, so I got a quirk? As Inko said, yeah, it seemed that you got a quirk, Izuku. As Izuku said, cool, I can finally become a hero. As the doctor said, and you sure will gonna be a great hero indeed. Well, you have the right to go. You really doesn't have anything, nothing to worry about, except that we already put some oxygen inside your lungs because they were about to, turn off, kid. Try not to use your electricity too much. Try to train. As Izuku said, thanks, doctor. And after that, Inko just taken Izuku from the hospital bed. And after that, Izuku, when he get out of the room, he see in front of him Mitsuki and Bakugo just sitting on the chair. As after that Mitsuki said, oh Inko, Izuku, are you okay? As Izuku said, yeah, thanks. I wonder, what is Izuku even calling Mitsuki? Is he just calling her miss or auntie or something like that? I'm just gonna tell him to call her yes, Mitsuki, I'm okay. As after that she said, oh thanks God. Bakugo, come here. As after that Katsuki, come closer, and after that he just having his hands in his pockets and said, so you got a quirk? As Izuku said, yeah, the doctor said I can control wind and electricity. As Baku said, not gonna lie, it's kinda cool. You might actually be able to take the number 2 spot. As Izuku said, I'm gonna take the number 1 spot. As Baku said, that's my spot. As Izuku said, then how about you take it from me? As Baku said, so you are on it, Deku. As after that, Inko decided to take Izuku back to the home because they have a lots of fun today and they already have taken a lots of playtime. So it's time to end this part, and we cut into a couple of years into the future. After right now Izuku in the middle school, as he just sitting down on his notebook by the side of Bakugo. As Bakugo said, hey Deku, what are you doing? As Izuku said, I'm just, looking into what will be my hero costume will be. As Baku said, again, we already discussed this. As Izuku said, yeah, but I, wonder, should I put really an oxygen mask with me? It might be useful, but it's not really the most agile thing to have. As after that, of course, the teacher come inside the class and said, well, student, today is your last day of middle school and you really should think about your future. I have some papers here that you might want to fill up with some, jobs like police officers, a chef or something like that. But why would I even bother to give every single one of you a paper like this when I already know that all of you want to be heroes? As he just throw the paper in the air and everyone start to get excited. As after that, Baku just jump on his desk and said, everyone here want to be a hero? Like hell they will gonna be a hero. The only people here that having a chance to get into the hero school is me and Deku. And if any one of you said anything like that, I'm gonna blow his face. As of course, the teacher said, Katsuki Bakugo, yeah, you are having a great quirk, and you are, we're gonna go to UA, I see. As the teacher continues saying, and I see that Izuku Midori also want to go to UA too, as Izuku just closing his notebook and said, yes, teach, I want to go to UA. As after that, some people start to talk about Izuku and of course Katsuki, and in the end, the school day ended as Bakugo and Izuku just walking out of the school. As Bakugo said, hey Deku, do you want to go into the beach and train again? As Izuku said, nah, my mother wants me to come closer and, go back into the house very soon, so I really can't go with you. As Bakugo said, you're the loser. See you around, asshole. As after that, Izuku said, alright, explosion head. As Izuku started walking, just looking in his notebook, as he said, alright, that might be actually useful. A battery? I can absorb electricity from things, but maybe, to be actually honest with you, maybe I never tried it before. I never tried to take electricity, but nah, let's see this later. Maybe I'm gonna talk with Kachan about this. As after that, suddenly from behind, Izuku hearing a sound saying, hey kid, give me your body. As after that, the sludge villain jumped on Izuku and he said, I didn't know that freak was in town, but thanks God that you are here, kid. You're really my hero. As after that, Izuku starts suffocating as he said, not like this, like hell I'm gonna end up like this. As he immediately starts engulfing his right side with electricity, as he immediately throw a bolt of electricity, like a 100 volt of electricity on the sludge villain, as the sludge villain immediately blew up everywhere. As after that, Izuku start breathing heavily, and after that he just taking like an oxygen mask out of his back and start putting it on his face to, just take some oxygen. As he just taking a deep breath and said, damn it, I really need to work more on my breathing styles. As after that, suddenly he hear a sound from behind saying, well, don't fear, for I am where's the sludge villain? As after that, Izuku seeing All Might, he said, All Might, you're really here? As All Might said, young man, can you tell me where is the villain? Do you see a pile of green goo running around? As Izuku said, oh yeah, it's everywhere actually. As after that, he just pointing on the place. As All Might said, well, looks like you have a very strong quirk. Can I ask what is it? As Izuku said, but I'm gonna ask you a question first. Are you really a teacher at UA? As All Might said, well, why do you want to know this? Because, Izuku said, well, because I want to apply to UA, and if you told me the truth, I'm gonna tell you. As All Might said, well, looks like I will gonna have to keep this a surprise for later, and I'm just gonna ask you when you go into UA, alright kid? As Izuku said, alright, but can you please give me your autograph? As All Might said, sure thing. As Izuku, All Might just giving his autograph to Izuku, and Izuku said, can you repeat it 2 times on different papers? I have friends that were really gonna love to take your autograph. As All Might said, anything for my fans. As after that, he just put the, of course, the just signing Izuku notebook, and after that he said, well, do you have an empty bottle? As Izuku just looking in his back and give him one. And after that, using his left side, start moving the wind around of him and just moving the sludge as he just put it inside a bottle. As All Might said, interesting. Well, see you around, young man. As after that, All Might just jump into nowhere as Izuku just waving at him, and after that he said, I can't believe that I met the #1 hero, and not only this, I got a fucking autograph out of him. Oh, Bakugo will be so fucking jealous. Oh man, I'm really excited to throw this into his face. As after that, Izuku just go back into his house and sleep for the night. As on the next day, Izuku, of course, immediately go into the beach to meet with Bakugo, as Bakugo just waiting on the beach. And after that, we see Izuku as he said, what the fuck, Deku? I was here from like a fucking 5 minutes. Why did you? But before he continue, Izuku just taking his notebook out and showing All Might autograph. As Bakugo said, what is this? As Izuku said, this is All Might autograph. Explosion ad. As Bakugo said, wait a second, as he just take it, and after that he just start to examine it, as he said, wait, this is actually his autograph. Where did you get this? As Izuku said, All Might saved you from the villain last, day, or maybe I saved myself and I just helped him to, collect the villain. But anyways, I got his autograph. As Bakugo said, seriously? Fucking idiot. As Izuku said, don't worry, I got one to you. As after that, Izuku just taking a paper with All Might autographed in it. As Bakugo said, thank you about this. Not forgetting me. As Izuku said, of course I'm not gonna forget you. Well, now, are we gonna fight or what? As Bakugo immediately smiled and said, well, if you wanna fight, then the fight shall be. As after that, Bakugo go to the other side of the beach, as Izuku right now on the left side. And after that, Bakugo starts engulfing his hands with explosion while Izuku holding his right arm out. And after that, Bakugo said, we will gonna start on 3. Alright, as Izuku said, alright. And after that, Bakugo said, 1, 3, as he immediately jump into the air and start spinning around as he throw an explosion at Izuku. Izuku immediately using his left hand, throwing like an air wave in front of him to push himself backward, which leaving Bakugo throwing his hand on the ground, making an explosion. After that, Izuku immediately just slide his right arm on the sand, throwing like a lightning bolt on Bakugo. Immediately Bakugo just jump away using his, of course, explosions, trying to dodge the electricity, but it's he tried to jump a little bit far, but Izuku even throwing more electricity, which finally got into Bakugo and start electrocuting him. Izuku immediately stopped because, for his lungs, as he immediately start breathing heavily, but he starts, just creating like using his left side, creating like a little ball of oxygen around of his head to make him breathe more. Better. As after that he take a deep breath and said, well, is that all what you got, Explosion Head? As Bakugo said, like hell, I'm just beginning, asshole. As after that, Bakugo jump into the air and immediately go at Izuku to throw an explosion. Izuku jump into the left and immediately got hold of Bakugo right arm, as Bakugo immediately after that using his left throwing an explosion at Izuku, which actually hitting him and throwing him away. After that, Bakugo coming with the right hand and throwing an explosion at him. Immediately after that, Izuku creating like a throwing his left hand in front of him, throwing like a wind blast on Bakugo chest, throwing him away. And after that, using his right, throwing electricity at Bakugo to electrocute him, as Bakugo immediately throwing an explosion on the ground to lift up like a lots of course, dust in the air, as Izuku just seeing dust in front of him and he really doesn't see Bakugo. And after that, Izuku said, where is Bakugo? As he hear from above his head, above you, idiot! As he look above, he see Bakugo going down with an explosion. Izuku immediately holding his right arm and throwing an electricity blast on Bakugo as their power collapsed together. And after that, Izuku and Bakugo being thrown away into the sides, as both of them stand up and said, I'm not done yet. As Bakugo said, like hell, I'm done too. Yeah, come on! As after that, Bug just fall on his knees, and Izuku tried to throw in a lightning bolt, but he immediately started breathing heavily. As Izuku said, "Well, how about a tie?" As Bug said, "Damn it! All right." As after that, Izuku said, "Well, that was a good fight." As Baku said, "It wasn't a good fight. It was a tie." Which, can you remind me again? What is the result of our fights? As Izuku said, "I really don't remember. I stopped counting when we were, like, I don't know, 13 years old." As Baku said, the same thing. Well, I don't care. I'm sure that I was the one that having the most wins in our fights." As Izuku said, "Hell no, it was me." As Baku said, "Yeah, like hell it was you." As Izuku said, "Oh, alright, how about this? After 10 months of training, how about in the, of course, in the entrance exam of UA, the one that doing whatever, you know, what they even doing in the entrance exam exactly?" As Baku said, "I don't know." As Izuku said, "Whatever. When we know what is the challenge in the entrance exam, the one that get the most point is the winner. Alright?" As Baku said, "Alright, you're on it." And after that, Izuku said, "Well, I have to go. See you around, Bakugo." As after that, Baku said, "See you around, nerd." As in the end, Izuku just leave the place, and Bakugo, you know, after a couple of just throwing explosion around just to take his anger out. And of course, there was a man that watching them, a man with a blonde hair and a blue sinking eyes into his head, with such a skinny body. As the man said, "So this is the kid, he's always training here, huh? And that kid is Katsuki Bakugo. Interesting. I'm gonna keep an eye on those two." And after that, the guy, which is of course All Might, just leave the place. And this is I'm gonna leave it off, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below, tell me what do you think about this part and what do you think will happen in the next part, and also if you wanted Rocky to be a girl. Anyways, my Discord down in the description. Well, I have nothing more to say than Severed was here.